Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins today. We're about to dive into one of the most fascinating coins in the history of American currency, the 1964 Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, a 1964 penny? That's just a regular coin, right? Well, not exactly. There's a rare version of the 1964 Lincoln penny that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. That's right, this seemingly ordinary penny could be sitting in your collection, or even your pocket, waiting to make you a fortune. In this video, we'll uncover the history behind the 1964 penny, explain why certain versions are so valuable, and show you how you can identify this rare and highly sought-after coin. So, let's get started. Before we talk about the 1964 penny specifically, let's first take a look at the history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909, and it's been an iconic part of American currency ever since. It was created to honor President Abraham Lincoln's legacy, and over the years, the design has undergone a few changes. The most significant change came in 1959, when the penny's reverse design shifted from the classic wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, which remained on the back of the coin for decades. By 1964, the Lincoln Memorial was firmly in place, and the coin was being minted primarily from copper. The 1964 penny was minted during an interesting time in U.S. history. The country was still adjusting to the end of World War II, and the coinage system was evolving. But it was a specific error in the 1964 Lincoln penny that made this coin so valuable and rare. Now, let's dive into the story behind this mistake and why it's worth so much today. The 1964 Lincoln penny is particularly famous because of a rare and significant minting error that occurred at the Denver Mint that year. Normally, coins are struck with a single die that contains the design for the obverse, front, and reverse, back, of the coin. However, due to an issue with the die, some of the 1964 pennies were struck with a double die error, creating a noticeable and highly sought-after mistake. This error occurred on the obverse of the coin, where President Abraham Lincoln's portrait, as well as the inscription Liberty and the year 1964, were struck with the double image. This means that the design was impressed on the coin twice, resulting in a ghosted or double-printed effect. This mistake wasn't caught by the U.S. Mint, and as a result, these flawed coins were released into circulation, making them extremely rare and valuable. This specific double die error is what makes the 1964 penny so special. The double die strike is highly noticeable, especially on the word Liberty and the year 1964. The error is also visible on the motto "In God We Trust." The fact that such a small mistake went unnoticed at the time means that only a limited number of these double die pennies exist today, making them very rare and highly desirable to collectors. Now, you might be wondering why a 1964 penny with a simple minting error can be worth so much. The answer lies in its rarity, its historical significance, and the demand among collectors. 1. Rarity. Coins with minting errors are always rarer than regular coins, and the 1964 double die penny is no exception. There were only a limited number of these pennies produced with the double die error, and over the years, many of them have been worn down, lost, or damaged. The fact that so few of these coins are still in circulation or in good condition makes them incredibly rare. 2. Condition. Like any rare coin, the condition of the 1964 penny plays a huge role in determining its value. A coin in mint or near mint condition is worth much more than a worn or damaged coin. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a 1964 penny that has a clear and sharp double die strike with minimal wear. 3. Collector demand. The 1964 double die penny is a must-have for many serious coin collectors. Minting errors, especially ones that are easily visible to the naked eye, are highly coveted in the numismatic world. Because of the limited number of these error coins and the high demand from collectors, the price of a well-preserved 1964 penny with a double die error has skyrocketed. In fact, One of these rare coins was recently sold at auction for a staggering $1.6 million. While most of these pennies won't reach that price, those in excellent condition with a prominent double die error can easily fetch thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on their grade and condition. If you're wondering how to identify a 1964D penny with the FAMU, hey coin collectors and enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. If you're passionate about rare and valuable coins, you're in for a treat today. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1978D Lincoln penny, a coin that might seem like a regular penny at first glance, but it could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. That's right. A simple penny from 1978 could potentially make you a fortune, and today we're going to explore the history behind it, why it's so valuable, and how you can identify if you've got one of these rare pennies hiding in your collection. So, let's get started with the story of the 1978D Lincoln penny. Before we get into the specifics of the 1978D penny, let's take a quick look at the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, and it has been one of the most iconic coins in American history ever since. The coin has seen various design changes throughout the years, with the most notable being the transition from the wheat reverse to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. By the time 1978 rolled around, the Lincoln penny was being minted in copper, and the reverse design featured the familiar Lincoln Memorial. For most people, a 1978D penny might just seem like another run-of-the-mill coin that's worth 1 cent. However, that's not the case for all of them. You see, there's a particular version of the 1978D penny that has become one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence today. The key to the value of the 1978D penny lies in a rare minting error that occurred at the Denver Mint. The 1978D penny was supposed to be struck with the standard design, but due to a rare mistake, some of these coins were produced with an additional and unique feature that set them apart. These errors happened when the minting die used to strike the coin was damaged or worn out, resulting in a rare double strike on some of the 1978D pennies. What makes this error so special is that it's a form of the double die error. Essentially, when the die was misaligned or malfunctioned during the minting process, it caused some of the coins to have a double image of the Lincoln Memorial or the word Liberty stamped on them. This made certain 1978D pennies completely different from the rest and incredibly valuable to collectors. Now, you might be wondering how a minting error like this could lead to a coin being worth so much money. Let's break down exactly why the 1978D Lincoln penny with this double die error is so highly sought after. The value of the 1978D Lincoln penny comes down to three main factors: rarity, condition, and the nature of the minting error. 1. Rarity. The 1978D double die penny is an extremely rare coin. While it's not the most common type of rare coin in circulation, finding one of these unique pennies is like finding a hidden treasure. The chances of stumbling upon one are slim, which is why the price for a single coin can be so high. 2. Condition. As with any rare coin, the condition of the 1978D penny plays a huge role in determining its value. If the coin has been kept in pristine condition with little to no wear and tear, it's going to be worth significantly more than a worn or damaged version. Graded coins, especially those in high grades, can fetch impressive prices at auction. 3. The double die error. The most important factor is the minting error itself. Coins with double die errors are among the most sought after by collectors because of the unique characteristics they exhibit. In the case of the 1978D penny, the double strike can sometimes be seen clearly on the word Liberty and even on the date 1978, making it easy to spot. The more prominent and clear the double die feature, the higher the value of the coin. The rarity of this error combined with the high demand from collectors creates a perfect storm for a high-value coin. In fact, One of these rare 1978 double die pennies recently sold for a staggering $1.2 million at auction. While it's not likely that every 1978 penny with the error will fetch such a high price, certain ones with clearer double strikes and better condition could easily hit the six-figure mark or more. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare and valuable 1978 double die pennies? Here are a few tips to help you identify this exceptional coin. 1. Look for the double die. The most obvious characteristic of the 1978 double die penny is the double strike. On the obverse front of the coin, you'll notice that the letters, particularly the word Liberty, and the date 1978 appear to have a shadow or a second image that's lit. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving into a coin that many people overlook but could potentially hold a small fortune: the 1979 Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, how could a penny from 1979 possibly be worth that much? Well, stick around, because this video will take you through the history of the coin, what makes some of them incredibly valuable, and why one particular 1979 penny sold for a staggering $1.1 million. Let's get started. Before we focus on the 1979 penny, let's take a moment to understand the significance of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent, also known as the penny, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. This was the first time that a U.S. coin featured the image of a real person, making it a groundbreaking moment in U.S. coinage. Prior to that, U.S. coins mainly depicted allegorical figures, such as Liberty. The original design of the penny featured a reverse side with two wheat stalks, which gave it the nickname Wheat Penny. In 1959, however, to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday, the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the president. Since then, the Lincoln penny has become one of the most recognized and collected coins in American numismatics. By 1979, the design of the Lincoln penny was already well established. The obverse of the penny featured Abraham Lincoln's bust, along with the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." The date 1979 appeared just below Lincoln's bust, and the coin was still made of copper. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial was featured in great detail, with the words "E Pluribus Unum" and "United States of America" inscribed around it. While the general design of the 1979 penny was not anything new, this year's coin would become significant for a reason that few could have anticipated. In fact, some 1979 pennies would end up being worth far more than just 1 cent. Now, let's get to the real reason why some 1979 pennies can be worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even over $1 million. It all comes down to a rare error, the double die variety. The double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the dies, causing the design to appear doubled or offset. In the case of the 1979 Lincoln penny, this error resulted in some coins having double lettering or even a double Lincoln portrait. Not all 1979 pennies have this error. In fact, most are fairly ordinary. However, the double die variety has become highly sought after by collectors, and finding one in good condition can make all the difference in the coin's value. A perfect example of this was a 1979 penny that was sold at auction for an eye-watering $1.1 million. The specific coin that sold for $1.1 million was a 1979 penny that exhibited a clear and visible double die error. The coin was in exceptional condition and was graded as being near perfect by numismatic professionals. It is important to understand that the combination of a rare minting error and the coin's excellent condition was what made this penny so valuable. The double die error in the 1979 penny can be quite subtle, especially when it comes to the text on the coin. The most obvious signs of the double die are the doubling in the date and the letters on the coin. If you examine the 9 in 1979, you may notice that it looks as though it's been struck twice, giving it a slight shadow effect. Similarly, the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" can also appear doubled. However, finding this kind of error in good condition is quite rare, which is why those pennies can fetch such high prices at auctions. So, How can you tell if your 1979 penny is one of these valuable double-die coins? The first step is to closely inspect the coin. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to examine the date, the lettering, and Lincoln's portrait for any signs of doubling. The most common areas to look for doubling are the digits in the year 1979, the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust, the image of Lincoln's bust. If you notice any of these features are doubled or blurry, then there's a good chance you have a double-die penny on your hands. Be sure to check both sides of the coin as well, as the doubling may occur in different areas. It's also important to consider the condition of the coin. Coins in higher grade has a meaning they have little to no wear and still show sharp, clear details are worth significantly more than those with visible damage, scratches, or corrosion. If you think you found a potential double-die error penny, it's a good idea to get it professionally graded by a reputable grading service like the P. Welcome to the channel. Rarest coins. In today's video, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating coins that might be sitting in your collection or even in your change drawer right now, with the 1973D Lincoln penny. While it might seem like a common penny, some versions of the 1973D Lincoln penny are far more valuable than you might think. In fact, certain rare 1973D pennies have sold for an astonishing $1.2 million. In this video, we'll take you through the history of this penny, explain what makes some of these coins worth a fortune, and show you how to spot a potential high-value 1973D penny. Let's jump right into it. Before we talk about the 1973D Lincoln penny specifically, let's take a step back and appreciate the history behind the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person on its obverse, and it marked a significant shift in coin design. The reverse side initially depicted two stalks of wheat, earning it the nickname Wheat Penny, which remained until 1958. In 1959, the design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, making the penny instantly recognizable to generations of Americans. The new design remained largely unchanged until the 1970s, when small tweaks were made in the minting process. The 1973D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, is one of those coins that, despite its seemingly ordinary appearance, holds a remarkable story. The 1973D Lincoln penny is very similar to other pennies from the era in terms of design. On the obverse, it features Abraham Lincoln's profile, surrounded by the words "In God We Trust, Liberty, and the year 1973. On the reverse, it shows the Lincoln Memorial with the inscription E Pluribus Unum and United States of America. The penny was struck in copper, and the mint mark D signifies that it was produced at the Denver Mint. Like most pennies of its time, it was intended for circulation, and millions of these coins were minted. At first glance, a 1973D penny may seem like a typical piece of U.S. currency, but there's a rare variety of this coin that makes it incredibly valuable. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Why is it that some 1973D Lincoln pennies are worth over $1.2 million? It all comes down to a rare minting error that occurred during the production of these coins. Specifically, certain 1973D pennies were struck with the misalignment of the dies, causing a dramatic double-die error. This means that the design on the coin was struck more than once, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the letters, date, and even parts of the Lincoln Memorial. The double-die error can occur when the coin is struck multiple times by the minting dies, which are used to imprint the design onto the coin. If the dies are not properly aligned, the image appears as if it has been stamped twice, leading to a blurred or doubled effect. This error is rare, and when it happens on a coin that's already in high demand, the result can be a significant increase in value. In the case of the 1973D Lincoln penny, the double-die variety is considered one of the most notable errors, and it has drawn the attention of coin collectors and investors alike. The rarity of this coin, combined with its historical significance, means that it can command incredible prices at auction. One of the most famous examples of the 1973D double-die penny was a specimen that sold for an astounding $1.2 million at auction. This coin, which was in nearly perfect condition, was recognized as one of the best examples of the double-die era, making it one of the most valuable pennies ever sold. The penny featured noticeable doubling on the word Liberty, as well as on the D in the mint mark, making it a prime example of this error type. However, it's important to note that not all 1973D pennies with a double-die error will sell for this amount. The value of a coin depends on several factors, including the severity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the demand among collectors. Even if your 1973D penny isn't worth $1 million, it could still be worth a significant amount more than its face value. So, how can you tell if your 1973D penny is one of these rare double-die error coins? Here's what to look for. 1. Doubling of the date. The most common feature of the 1973D double-die penny is the doubling of the digits in the date. Look closely at the 7 and 3 in the year 1973. If you notice that the digits appear slightly offset or blurred, this could indicate a double-die error. 2. Doubling of the word Liberty. Check the word Liberty on the obverse of T. Welcome to the channel. Rarest coins. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of US coins, specifically the 1970D Lincoln penny. It might seem like a simple, everyday coin to you, but there are certain rare 1970D pennies that could be worth a small fortune. Some of these coins have sold for as much as $1.3 million. You may be wondering, how could a penny from 1970 be worth that much? Well, stick around as we explore the history, the rare errors, and what makes these coins so valuable. Let's get started. Before we zoom in on the 1970D Lincoln penny, let's take a moment to understand the broader history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a groundbreaking design at the time, as it was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real person, rather than allegorical figures like Liberty. The original design featured the famous wheat ears reverse, which earned it the nickname Wheat Penny. In 1959, the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design to feature the Lincoln Memorial, to celebrate Lincoln's legacy. This change marked the beginning of a new era for the Lincoln penny, and it would remain unchanged until the 1980s. Fast forward to 1970. By this time, the penny had become a symbol of U.S. coinage, and the design was well established. However, the 1970s would bring about an important change in the way pennies were minted. The year 1970 is especially significant because it was the last year that pennies were made primarily of copper before the U.S. Mint switched to a predominantly zinc-based composition. The design of the 1970D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, was consistent with previous years. On the obverse, the coin features the bust of Abraham Lincoln, with the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" surrounding his image, as well as the year 1970. On the reverse, the coin depicts the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic symbol of Lincoln's legacy, along with the words "United States of America" and "De Pluribus Unum." The penny was struck from copper, and the mint mark D on the reverse indicates that it was produced at the Denver Mint. These coins were intended for circulation, so millions of them were produced. At first glance, the 1970D penny seems like an ordinary coin, but hidden within the vast number of pennies minted that year are a few rare examples that have captured the attention of collectors worldwide. You may be wondering why some 1970D Lincoln pennies can be worth so much money, up to $1.3 million in some cases. The answer lies in a rare minting error, the double-die variety. A double-die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the dies, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the design, which can be seen in the lettering, date, or other areas of the coin. In the case of the 1970D penny, the double-die error is most commonly seen in the date and the word Liberty. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the dies, but the dies aren't perfectly aligned during the second strike. As a result, the design on the coin appears to be duplicated, creating a doubled effect that's visible to the naked eye. This doubled die error is relatively rare, and it's what makes certain 1970 Lincoln pennies incredibly valuable. Coins with this error can sell for thousands of dollars, and in the case of the best specimens, they can fetch up to $1.3 million at auction. One of the most famous examples of the 1970 double die penny is a specimen that sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million at auction. This coin, in nearly perfect condition, exhibited a clear and distinct doubling on the date 1970 and the word liberty. It was considered one of the best examples of the error, which is why it was able to reach such an extraordinary price. Coins with this level of rarity and quality are highly sought after by collectors, and the 1970 double die penny is considered one of the most valuable errors in modern U.S. coinage. However, it's important to note that not every 1970 penny with the double die error will reach such a high price. The value of these coins depends on several factors, including the severity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the overall demand among collectors. So, how can you identify a 1970 Lincoln penny with the double die error? It's not always easy, but there are a few key features to look for. Here's what you need to check for. 1. Doubling of the date. The most obvious sign of the double die error is the doubling of the digits in the year 1970. If you look closely at the 7 and the 0, you may notice that the numbers appear slightly doubled or blur. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 2060 Lincoln penny. While most of us would see this penny as just another part of everyday currency, there are rare versions of the 2060 Lincoln penny that are worth far more than their face value. In fact, some of these coins have sold for up to $1.4 million at auction. So, if you've got the 2006 penny lying around in your collection or tucked away in a drawer, you might want to give it a closer look. In this video, we'll explore the history behind the 2060 Lincoln penny, what makes some of these coins so valuable, and how you can spot a potentially valuable coin. Let's dive right in. Before we focus on the 2060 Lincoln penny, let's take a step back and look at the rich history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was a groundbreaking coin design, as it was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real person, Abraham Lincoln, instead of symbolic representations like Lady Liberty. The coin's design has evolved over time. The original reverse side, known as the wheat ears design, was in use from 1909 until 1958. In 1959, the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design to feature the Lincoln Memorial to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This new design remained in use until 2009 when the U.S. Mint released a series of special designs to commemorate the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, with the Lincoln Bicentennial series lasting until 2010. The 2060 Lincoln penny falls in the middle of this long history. In 2006, the penny featured the traditional design with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. The mint mark D indicates that this penny was minted at the Denver Mint, and the composition was still primarily copper, though the U.S. Mint began transitioning to using more zinc in later years. The design of the 2060 Lincoln penny was in line with previous years. On the obverse of the coin, it features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, surrounded by the words "In God We Trust and Liberty," along with the year 2006. The reverse side showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to Lincoln's legacy, along with the words "United States of America" and "De Pluribus Unum." This penny was made to be widely circulated, with millions of them minted that year. At first glance, it might look just like any other penny from the 2000s, but certain coins from this year, especially those with minting errors, are extremely valuable. So, what makes some 2060 Lincoln pennies worth a lot of money? While most 2006 pennies are worth only 1 cent, there are certain varieties of the coin that have sold for a significant amount of money, with some reaching up to $1.4 million. The reason for this lies in an extremely rare and highly sought-after minting error, or specifically the double die error. A double die error happens when a coin is struck more than once by the dies, causing the design to be imprinted twice. This results in a doubled appearance of the design elements, such as the date or lettering. In the case of the 2006 penny, the double die error is most commonly visible in the date and the word Liberty. This error occurs when the die, the tool used to stamp the design onto the coin, shifts slightly between strikes, causing the image to appear twice. While errors like this can happen from time to time, it is relatively rare, especially with coins that are as widely circulated as the 2006 penny. The 2006 double die penny has become one of the most valuable modern coins, with certain examples selling for hundreds of thousands, and even millions, of dollars. Coins that are in mint condition and feature the double die error prominently are the most valuable, as collectors highly prize these rare and historical examples. One of the most famous 2006 double die pennies was sold at auction for an incredible $1.4 million. This coin was in pristine condition and showed a strong doubling effect on the date 2006 and the word Liberty. Because the error was so clearly visible, the coin became a highly sought-after piece by collectors, and its sale price reflected its rarity and significance. While it's important to note that not every 2006 penny with the double die error will fetch such a high price, this specific coin is considered one of the finest examples of the error. The auction results prove that there is a huge market for modern coins with significant minting errors, especially if they are in good condition and show the error prominently. If you suspect that you have a 2006 penny with the double die error, it's crucial to welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. In today's video, we're exploring a fascinating topic that has intrigued collectors for years: the 1971 Lincoln penny. While most people consider the Lincoln penny a standard, low-value coin, some specific 1971 pennies have been known to fetch incredible prices. In fact, a rare version of this penny has been sold for as much as $1.5 million at auction. So, if you have a 1971 penny lying around in your collection, you might want to keep watching. We'll dive into the history of the Lincoln penny, what makes the 1971 version so special, and how to determine if your coin could be worth a fortune. Let's get started. To understand why the 1971 Lincoln penny is so valuable, we first need to appreciate the rich history of the coin itself. The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of a symbolic figure like Lady Liberty. Since its debut, the Lincoln penny has become one of the most iconic and beloved coins in U.S. history. The design of the coin has undergone a few changes over the years. Initially, the reverse side of the penny featured two stalks of wheat, known as the wheat ears design, which was in use from 1909 to 1958. In 1959, the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design to the Lincoln Memorial, which became a permanent feature on the penny until 2008, when new designs were introduced to commemorate the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. By the time the 1971 penny was minted, the Lincoln Memorial design was well established. The 1971 penny, however, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors because of its potential to contain rare errors, which can make it worth far more than a simple penny. The 1971 Lincoln penny features the familiar design that collectors have come to recognize. On the obverse, the coin depicts President Abraham Lincoln's portrait, surrounded by the words "In God We Trust and Liberty," with the year 1971 below his image. On the reverse, the coin features the iconic Lincoln Memorial with the words "United States of America" and "De Pluribus Unum" surrounding it. What makes the 1971 penny particularly interesting is that it was minted in San Francisco, as indicated by the S mint mark. This is important because the minting of coins in San Francisco often yields a smaller number of coins compared to other mints like Denver or Philadelphia. This makes the San Francisco minted coins rarer, which increases the value of certain specimens. The 1971 S penny was made primarily of copper, just like most pennies minted in the 20th century, and was produced for general circulation. However, among the millions of pennies produced, there are a few rare examples that stand out due to minting errors that occurred during the production process. So, why are some 1971 S Lincoln pennies worth so much money? The answer lies in a very rare and valuable minting error, the double die variety. Double die errors occur when a coin is struck more than once by the dies, and the second strike is slightly misaligned, causing the design elements to appear doubled or blurred. In the case of the 1971 S penny, the double die error is particularly notable in the date 1971 and the word liberty on the obverse of the coin. This doubling occurs when the die used to stamp the design is improperly aligned, creating the characteristic doubled appearance. These double die errors are extremely rare, and only a small number of 1971 S pennies were affected. Because of the rarity of these errors, coins with double die varieties are highly sought after by collectors, driving up their value. In fact, the finest examples of those double die 1971 S pennies have sold for as much as $1.5 million at auction. One of the most famous 1971 S double die pennies is a coin that sold for an astounding $1.5 million. This coin, which was in nearly perfect condition, displayed a clear doubling of the date 1971 and the word liberty, making it an outstanding example of the error. The rarity and condition of this coin, combined with the interest from collectors, resulted in one of the highest auction prices ever recorded for a 1971 S penny. This specific coin has become a symbol of how a simple minting error can turn an otherwise common coin into a multi-million-dollar item. It's a reminder that even a seemingly ordinary penny can have extraordinary value if it features the right error or rare characteristic. If you think you might have a 1971 S penny with the rare double die error, here's how to identify it. 1. Doubling of the date 1971, the most noticeable feature. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a coin collector or just someone who likes to learn about valuable finds, you're going to want to stick around for today's video. We're going to talk about the 2018 D Lincoln penny, a coin that may look like your standard penny at first glance but has a surprising value, one that can go as high as $1.1 million in some rare cases. You read that right, a $1.1 million. So, if you have a 2018 D Lincoln penny in your collection, you could be holding on to something truly special. In this video, we'll explore the history of the Lincoln penny, take a look at the 2018 D issue, and discuss why certain examples of this penny are so valuable. Let's dive in. Before we get into the details about the 2018 D Lincoln penny, it's important to understand the history behind the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature an actual person, making it a unique piece of American numismatic history. Over the years, the design of the penny has undergone several changes. The original reverse design, known as the wheat ears or wheat back design, was used from 1909 until 1958. In 1959, to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday, the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design to the Lincoln Memorial. This design was used on the penny until 2008, when a series of new designs were introduced to mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. The 2018 D Lincoln penny, however, falls under the era of the Lincoln Memorial design and is part of the series of modern pennies that have been minted since the 1959 reverse change. The D on the 2018 D penny stands for the Denver Mint, where the coin was struck. While most of these pennies are common and worth only their face value, certain varieties from this year have garnered attention from collectors for their rarity, making them valuable beyond what you might expect from a typical penny. The design of the 2018 Lincoln penny is pretty straightforward and follows the traditional style that collectors have come to expect. On the obverse side, the coin features a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, with the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" surrounding his image. The year 2018 is placed beneath his bust, and the mint mark D is located near the bottom right, just below the date, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse side, the coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial, which has been a staple of the penny since 1959. The words "United States of America" and "De Pluribus Unum" surround the memorial, along with the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. This reverse design, which honors the Lincoln Memorial, remained in use until 2008, when the reverse design was changed again to honor Lincoln's bicentennial. The 2018 D penny itself is composed of copper-plated ink, as most pennies minted after 1982 are. This makes the coin weigh 2.5 grams and have a diameter of 19 millimeters, the same as other standard pennies. Now, you may be wondering, what makes certain 2018 D pennies worth much more than face value? The key lies in the rare era varieties that were produced during minting. Though most 2018 D pennies are nothing special, a small number have errors that make them highly valuable, sometimes reaching figures of $1.1 million or more. These valuable coins typically have specific minting flaws, which are known as mint errors. The most notable error that has been identified in some 2018 D Lincoln pennies is the double die error. A double die error happens when a coin is struck more than once, and the second strike is slightly misaligned. As a result, you can see a doubling effect in the coin's design. In the case of the 2018 D penny, this error is most noticeable in the date and the word "Liberty" on the obverse side. The doubling effect can make the numbers in the year 2018 and the letters in "Liberty" appear blurry or duplicated. There's one 2018 D double die penny in particular that's garnered widespread attention for its mind-blowing auction price of $1.1 million. This particular coin, which showed clear doubling on the 2018 date and the word "Liberty," became a sensation when it was sold at a major coin auction. The price for this coin was so high due to its rarity, excellent condition, and the extraordinary nature of the minting error. Coins like this 2018 D double die penny are highly sought after by collectors, as they are not only rare, but they represent a piece of numismatic history. The fact that it fetched $1.1 million proves how much of a demand there is for rare coins, even for more recent issues like the 2018 D penny. While it's highly unlikely. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic that's sure to intrigue coin collectors and history buffs alike: the 1987 Lincoln penny. While most people might consider the 1987 Lincoln penny a standard coin, it's actually the key to a much larger story. Some of these pennies are worth far more than their face value, and in rare instances, certain versions of the 1987 Lincoln penny have been sold for an incredible $1.6 million. If you've got a 1987 Lincoln penny in your collection, this might be the video you've been waiting for. We're going to talk about the history behind this coin, how to identify its valuable versions, and what makes some of them worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. Let's get into it. Before we zoom in on the 1987 Lincoln penny, let's take a brief look at the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin was revolutionary because it was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real persona, President Lincoln, rather than a symbolic figure like Lady Liberty. The design of the Lincoln penny has evolved over time, but it's always remained a symbol of American history and pride. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse side of the penny featured two stalks of wheat, known as the wheat ears design. In 1959, the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial in honor of Lincoln's 150th birthday. The Lincoln Memorial design remained on the reverse side of the penny until 2008. When the U.S. Mint introduced new designs to mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. Now, the 1987 penny falls squarely within the Lincoln Memorial design era, And that's when we begin to see the first steps towards something extraordinary. By the time 1987 came around, the Lincoln Memorial design was widely associated with the coin. In the years leading up to this point, the U.S. Mint had already produced billions of pennies with the Lincoln Memorial reverse, but there was something unique about the 1987 version that would later capture the attention of collectors. The design of the 1987 Lincoln penny is pretty typical for the time. The obverse side features a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, with the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" surrounding his image. The year 1987 is found beneath his portrait. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the familiar Lincoln Memorial, with the words "United States of America" and "De Pluribus Unum" surrounding the image. What makes the 1987 Lincoln penny interesting is the relatively small number of certain types of errors and variations that occurred during production, and these can make a significant difference in the coin's value. While the vast majority of 1987 pennies are worth only 1 cent, certain coins from this year have become highly valuable, with some of the rarer examples fetching jaw-dropping prices at auction. You might be wondering, what makes certain 1987 Lincoln pennies worth so much? The key lies in the rare minting errors that occurred during production. While the majority of 1987 pennies are worth only 1 cent, a select few have errors that make them worth significantly more. The most valuable 1987 pennies are those with a unique variety of errors, with the most notable being the double die variety. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck multiple times by the dies, which causes the design elements to appear doubled. In the case of the 1987 penny, the doubling typically shows up in the date 1987 and the word "Liberty" on the obverse of the coin. These coins are incredibly rare, and they have become highly sought after by collectors. Why is this important? Because double die coins are known for their uniqueness, and because only a limited number of them are minted, they are prized by numismatists and collectors around the world. The 1987 double die penny has sold for as much as $1.6 million at auction, making it one of the highest valued modern pennies in recent history. One of the most famous examples of a 1987 Lincoln penny with the double die error was sold for an astonishing $1.6 million. This particular penny was in pristine condition and exhibited a clear doubling of the date 1987 and the word "Liberty." Because of the rarity and condition of the coin, it caught the eye of collectors, leading to a massive auction price that shocked the numismatic community. The fact that a modern coin minted only a few decades ago could be worth so much underscores the importance of errors in coin collecting. While not every 1987 penny is worth a small fortune, this specific variety, with the double die error, is an excellent example of how a simple,